What's going on, guys? It's MurderInc here, and what a video I have for you today. This is going to be a 3-for. What does that mean? A 3-for-1 special. We're going to go over one of the new champions, one of the newest champions that has been released into this game. We're going to be going over a skill, and the highlight of the video. I am going to use the worst, unanimously worst legendary in the entire game without OP gear, without a million crit damage, a million attack HP defense, without all of that. I'm going to make it look good. I have achieved the impossible. No one's talking about this champion. This champion has been asked to be buffed more times than I can count. Listen, people have asked for a dupe system less times than they've asked for this champion to be buffed because they're considered so useless. I've said there's been some value of this champion early game. I still think there is. That's not what I'm talking about here. Let's go into the, you know what, how should I start this? Okay. I'm going to start by talking about the new champion first, and I'll ease my way. I'm not going to drop the juicy part just yet for you. So with that being said, let's head straight into the game and talk about this new champion very briefly, touch on a few things, and then we'll get to the juicy part. Alright guys, so that new champion we are talking about today that's going to tie into this video completely is going to be Tuhanarak. I'm sorry, was that too much? Okay, no. I got this. I'm good with names. The champion we're talking about today, the legendary barbarian support, Tuhanarak. That's actually fun to say, Tuhanarak. Okay. This is what we're talking about today. Looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. Aesthetics on point, new look for sure. No other champion looks like this. Really quick, don't want to go too much over this. Decreased defense, continuous heal on this champion for 1 turn, continuous heal on an ally for 1 turn with the lowest HP, current active HP. Defense based, moving on to the A2, attacks 1 enemy. Decreased attack block buff for 2 turns, also applies debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. This is what we're talking about. One of the 3 things we're talking about is the champion. One of the 3 things we're going to be talking about is the debuff spread mechanic. How good is it? I mean, I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about this. It's more common on a champion that doesn't really get played a lot. That's going to be Vizier Ovellas. We'll get into that in a minute. But another defense-based ability. Moving on to the A3, increased defense, increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. 5-turn cooldown can be reduced to a 3-turn if you book this champion. Finally, the passive removes 1 debuff from all allies at the start of each turn, removes 2 random debuffs instead from all allies under continuous heal. Obviously, some synergy there with the A1 would be even better with someone like a Battle Khazar, who does apply continuous heal for 2 turns on the entire team. So it's a free cleanser. Is it better than Doom Priest? That's hard to say. I'll leave that for you guys to decide, because there is a condition to it. Doom Priest does it on its own. This champion would require someone like a Battle or anyone else who has continuous heal. Battle is a very good champion, so there is a bit to talk about there. Looking at the base stats, we have 106 speed here, 1277 defense. She's not going to be a damage dealer. I tested this out already. She doesn't do damage. Her point isn't to do damage if you went over the kit and understood it how I did, but one thing I want to talk about before I do use the worst legendary in the game in pair with this legendary here to show you something truly amazing is going to be Debuff Spread. Now, as mentioned before, Debuff Spread is an ability that there's not a ton of use for it. Usually, it's only you use it if you have to use it. What does that mean? So, if you have a defense down and weekend champion, take somebody, for example, like the Lizard Chameleon, whose name I currently cannot remember. Let me go ahead to the Lizardman, Roxum. If you have Roxum, he is a single target unless you have a condition to him. Most people won't because that's really hard to do. Single target, defense down, and weaken. Strongest combo in the game. Now you can do something like a debuff spread to really maximize the potential of Roxum on his own, which is definitely strong. However, it will never compete with someone like a Dracomorph, with someone like a Lydia. But the key here is using a debuff spread, if you can find enough in that champion's kit that applies the debuff spread, it can definitely be beneficial to your favor. So the champion I was referring to that most people probably associate debuff spread with is Vizier Ovellas. Okay, so Vizier Ovellas is pretty much the go-to champion for the clan boss as far as extending the duration of debuffs. He is a triple hit. He can extend it on each hit 35% all the way up to a 50% chance to extend. I'm sure you guys have seen the YouTube videos with Vizier in a run, extending it to 60 stacks, 70 stacks. It's incredible. However, he also has this ability that's not Master of Misery, I'm just clicking on it because I can, which is the A3 Vizier of Poisons. Attacks one enemy, applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target, placing them on all enemies. So what I found from this is, for one, you're going to need accuracy for this. You don't need accuracy for the initial spread. However, you are going to need accuracy to apply those debuffs onto the targets, which I see why they did it. It would be way too broken if you needed no accuracy. Actually, I take that back. I don't think it would be broken. I think it would be really nice if you didn't need accuracy because of the following fact. Debuff Spread isn't a one-time accuracy application. Murder, what the hell are you talking about? I'm going to tell you right now. So, if you are in, let's just say Spider intent. Let's just say Spider. If I am trying to spread a debuff on Spider, it's going to accuracy check, give you that 3% chance to fail, or if your accuracy isn't high enough, on every single champion on every single debuff. So if it's taking 2 debuffs, that's 2 debuffs per spiderling, and it's going to happen for each debuff. That's a lot, and that really increases your chance of failing if it's a very important debuff you really need on the target. So looking at Arena can be a bit easier. Now let's move away from Vizier Ovellas and go back to the champion we were talking about before, which is the Barbarian Tuhanarak. And what a fun name. So this is very strong for the following reason. We're talking about Arena again. This is a 100% chance once booked, 3-turn cooldown, doesn't matter. You only need to use it once. So how this works is it applies attack down and block buffs on the target first, then it spreads it to every single target around it. So I'm going to show you some Arena footage later, kind of showing you how this works, but this is really strong because this is an alternative to Gerptuk if you weren't able to get Gerptuk, or if you value the rest of Tuhanarak's kit more than someone like Gerptuk if you don't need the increased damage. Unfortunately, how you would want to use her, you would probably want Gerptuk instead, simply because she is more likely than not going to take the place of a defense down character, and nowadays it's very easy to kill enemies in the arena, especially with bots and all of that good stuff, without any type of defense down. Enemies kind of just fall over if you build your nuker properly. But block buffs prevents things like the most annoying set in the game, which is, as we all know, Swift Parry. So this gets rid of Swift Parry in case the enemy doesn't die and gets to counterattack with someone like a Kandrafin. Decreased attack is going to really limit that champion's ability to harm you a lot. Once again, we do have removes 1 random debuff from allies at the start of the turn. Maybe you put her in an immunity set, make her fast. She has the possibility of cleansing someone like a Hegemon if they did lock out your team. However, it is just 1 random debuff. Hegemon can apply up to 3, I believe, block cooldown, attack down in any CC set they are wearing if they're smart. Keyword if they're smart. So that's what we have going for it. Increase accuracy in all battles by 70. That's really whatever, but now what I want to do is, we kind of went over the champion. I'm going to showcase a Spider 25 run with the worst legendary in the game, making them for this moment only, in front of all of you. You were all my witness. We are going to make the worst legendary in the game look good. It's not going to be for long. It's very short-lived. However, we're making history today. So, Murder, who is the worst champion? It's no one on the screen in front of you. If you can guess the worst champion before, do I trust you guys? I don't know if I trust you guys. You guys are just going to watch the video and post the champion anyways. But if you want to be loyal, comment who you think the champion is going to be. Maybe some of you are going to get this. The champion is not a skinwalker. I baited you. The champion is Tila Gormain. Now, based on everything I said, 99.99% of you who are watching right now will understand exactly how I'm going to use this champion. Or you won't. Actually, you probably have no idea what Tila does because everyone says she's such a bad champion, don't use her, vault her, whatever. We are using the ability, not Life Worm. I just wanted to show you this ability because you've probably never heard of it. We are going to be using Pyre Strike. Places an HP burn debuff for 2 turns, continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns if this attack is critical. Now, you can kind of see why I'm using this new champion and kind of the 3-4 that I was talking about, 3 for 1, showing you 3 things all combined together, wrapping it up, synergizing together. We have continuous heal, which applies to the new legendary. We have HP burn, which is going to be brilliant with the debuff spread. There is going to be a problem down the line. Maybe you've already thought of this. If you haven't, have no fear. I'm going to show you in the following clip. Alright guys, so here is the run here. I don't know if I did this in slow speed, so let's just have a look. Okay, so as we can see here, we have Roxum in the middle here. Holding down the 4. I've never used him before, so it was a lot of fun to use this champion. He's going to apply defense, down, and weaken on the boss. Hits pretty hard as well. That's not a bad trade-off there. We have Tila Gormain representing as the worst legendary in the entire game on the far right of the screen, which is over there for you guys. We have Tuhanarak in the middle right part of the screen, followed by 2 cold hearts. Now let's watch this beautiful event unfold right before your eyes here. We're going to start with that HP burn. She did her job, continuous heal, everything's all set. Debuff spread, it applied HP burn and attack down to every single champion that you can see in front of you here. So we have double benefit here. We just got ourselves an AoE HP burn, and we just got ourselves an attack down to extend the duration of this fight, making sure cold hearts don't get one shot too fast. All of these champions die slow enough to make sure HP burn is pretty much depleted on all of these champions, so we do in fact kill this spider. So let's go ahead and watch this happen. We just had the Heartseeker go off from the first one, now the Heartseeker from the second one here. Let's watch this beautiful, beautiful Tila's HP burn that was spread work its magic on this spider boss here. Apparently there was some buff resisted from Tila's A1, but who really cares? No one knows what her kit is or what she does. All we're worried about is the continuous heal that synergizes and that single target HP burn that has a 100% chance to place if you do crit. So I do like that a lot, and we saw the use there for sure. As we can see, we are just doing absolute work to Spider Stage 25 here. And this is going to be game, set, match. 52 seconds, not too shabby for the worst legendary in the entire game. So we have Tila here, we have Tuhanarak here, and it's kind of interesting how this works out. I mean, maybe it's not, it's all about sourcing damage and how it's coded, but Tila only did 746,000 damage. Roxum did 747,000 damage, so 1,000 more than Tila. Interesting. And Tuhanarak actually took all of that AoE HP burn damage that was originally coded to Tila. So even though it's her HP burn, Tuhanarak was the one that spread it, so she gets credit for that damage, followed by the 2 cold hearts. Their only real purpose here is the Heartseeker. So this beautiful comp brought to you by me going on the dangerous venture of attempting to use the worst legendary. Now, one thing I do want to show you guys, and I think the reason why I'm doing another run here is because it worked out. Maybe not though. Maybe I'm just showing this in 1x speed, and this is what I was trying to do at first. But let's see here. This is the only problem with the new champion if it works how I think. Okay, bingo. If you remember, it says it's going to take 2 random debuffs. Now, Murder, how would I care if it takes 2 random debuffs? Because the people who made our good friend Tuhanarak decided to give this champion 2 random debuffs. So she's going to apply 2 debuffs first, which is block buff and attack down. Then we have the third debuff, which is HP burn, which we need from our worst legendary in the game, Tila, and it's a coin toss. Now, yes, it's in the favor. It's pretty much 2 out of 3 chance of you getting HP burn, but this can also happen, which makes this, unfortunately, not a consistent run. However, if you do get HP burn, this is going to work. But my point in showing you this wasn't so you could replicate this run here. I'm not going to show you the stats on these champions, none of that good stuff. I don't think I showed it to you in this recording. It is a bit long, so maybe I did, but that part is irrelevant. The point here is, if you want to use champions that do offer you the same thing as a debuff spread, as we saw here how I used Tila, you can definitely do that. There are plenty of single target HP burn champions, and you can definitely find a viable source of debuff spread if you do have it and you're struggling in content like Spider specifically, because everyone knows how good HP burn is for the Spider boss. So that is really the main point I did want to show you here. Now that all of this is sorted, let's go ahead. Okay, so I did show you the stats just in case you're curious. We have 48,000 health, 5.1 thousand defense. This was kind of a mini damage check that I did want to do. It was irrelevant. She doesn't hit hard. 300 accuracy, okay, 204 total speed. But I do want to show the new champion in the arena in case you wanted to play around with this effect in an arena setting, because it definitely can help a lot of people out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and showcase our new champion here at Debuff Spread. With this team, we have Kymar, we have Warlord, and it looks like Duchess is full resist here, so we're going to try to put them to sleep. It worked for everyone, surprisingly, even though he doesn't have a ton of accuracy. Now we get to debuff spread here. This is where the strength comes in here. So we're going to pause this here. We now have block buffs on every single champion in this match, as well as attack down. Not going to matter for anybody except for Cantrofin. He is the example I used earlier because he's a very common champion in defense teams right now. So this is where you do get the benefit of a champion applying 2 debuffs, then spreading 2 random debuffs, when all that's going to be in the target is going to be the debuffs that this champion does in fact initiate. Now, what you can do is you can also pair this with someone like a Hegemon. You can use Hegemon's A2, have this champion somewhere next in the lineup, then you do have the chance of spreading Hegemon's extremely annoying debuff that blocks the cooldowns from being used on all of the champions, because Hegemon doesn't have 100% chance of landing that debuff. So this does get rid of a little bit more of the RNG. Yes, you're going to have accuracy on both of them. However, it's a bit more consistent than just throwing in a Hegemon there and saying, I'm going to pray that this works in my favor. So this is an example of how to pretty much mitigate something like a Swift Parry gear set, also assuming, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing? I just A1, this had to have been a mistake. Unless for some reason I'm trying to showcase Trunda's A1 damage without defense down a weekend. I'm pretty sure I meant to hit her A3 there, so I just nuked this team off of the face of the earth, but it is what it is. She's going to use it next. So now we have defense up, increased speed, also a really good utility buff for the arena here. We're going to use the A1. Evil Eye's going to get resisted here. Now we're going to do the nuke here. And apparently it's going to do no damage. I wonder if she has gear on. You always have to ask that question when it's me doing things, because I like to take gear off of champions and just never put them back on. It is what it is. So we're going to use this A2, try to clean things up. We did get the crit. I was very risky there based on me not critting Duchess, but it is what it is. This is going to be a game, set, match. So this is what you can expect if you do want to use someone with a debuff spread ability in the arena. Now, Tuhanarak is going to be a bit better than most other champions who do have this effect because of the debuff she applies first. Like I said, block buff is very strong with Swift Parry currently in the meta. Alright guys, so this brings us back to the question, where can you use debuff spread to your advantage? Anywhere else that I didn't mention? Definitely let me know in the comments. What do you think about Tila Gorman doing God's work for the first time, never before seen on YouTube? Fact check me, I dare you to. So we used the worst legendary. I got to show you a new champion, and we talked about debuff spread. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what you think about this content. If you enjoy my videos, please like the video, leave me a comment below, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I will see you all in my next upload.